Greeting friends, it's me, Women29, and out here taking a walk. It's a great day, it's like 70 degrees out here. This video went out to Shlomo. I know him as Shlomo. I know he has probably a different name on YouTube here, but he came to a very important conclusion on a series of videos that he's been posting. I've been kind of watching them, and now he's discussing maybe since he's wrong, he should take the videos down, or he believes he's wrong. What's interesting, I think you should let it stand because it shows the progressive thought process and the learning experiences. And what you might do is take links and link up to the video where you are now, because somebody actually might be helped by seeing the different stages or the rest stops that you were at on your long journey. And also keep in mind that the conclusion that you've come to right now might be a rest stop. And I had the same problem. I had to come on, say I was wrong sometimes, and it's a very tough thing to do, and you're very brave, because it shows that, number one, you love research and you have a certain amount of integrity, which is lacking in today's culture. You know, if you're wrong, you just ignore the video that you were wrong and then talk about something else, then you end up appearing hypocritical. So what's pretty amazing is on another topic, Shlomo, what I'm thinking about now, since you reached that conclusion, you know, what do we follow and what don't we follow? What's interesting is the heavy laws and light laws of Judaism, even in Christian laws. One of the biggies is the ideas of safe sex and the whole idea of protection and contraceptives, contraceptives. Can never say that word. And how the church says you're not supposed to use them. However, I think that a lot of people, especially here in America, blow that off. Now you go back to the New Testament, Jesus makes a point that the light laws are just as important as the heavy laws. And you break a light law, it's like breaking all the laws. Kind of extreme, but he's making an extreme point, and that's based on the Rebbe's. And also, what's interesting too is what's bound and loose on earth and what's bound and loose in heaven. And when Jesus talks about things being bound and loosed, it's one of the points where scholars believe that there may have been a Hebrew underlying text to that, for that, because of the idioms. What's bound and loose. So what Jesus is saying here, he gives Peter and the apostles, according to the text, according to this text, he gives Peter the authority to change laws of the divine. So he says, in essence, hey Peter, whatever you want to do on earth, that's correct. If you want to tweak the law code a little bit to fit the Christian communities, go ahead, we'll back you up in heaven. If there's something that you don't want to observe, you want to tweak the law code for the Christian communities, we'll back you up in heaven. So what's loosed on earth will be bound in heaven, and what's bound on earth will be loosed in heaven. So that text, a lot of times, unless you trace it back to the Hebrew, you wouldn't really understand it in that way. But if someday, I guess my point is, and the way that leads, if someday the church came out and made a ruling about homosexuality and allowed them as, I'm not talking about priests, all I'm talking about is normal believers, the lay people. If they came out with a law that said, from the Vatican, in a council, came out with a ruling that said it's okay for relationships to be pursued. So, I guess what I'm wondering is, do you think that because of the authority that was given to Peter by Christ, supposedly, according to the writer, writer that was attributed to that text, and a lot of the thinking, do you think that would be loosed on earth and bound in heaven? I don't know, just some interesting things. And I'm glad that you got this far, and I'm glad that you're observing, because all your videos have been, in essence, you were thinking out loud. And I love that stuff. And I love it when people come to really good conclusions about things. But just know that maybe this is just a rest area. Keep researching. Don't be afraid to make videos. I left all my videos up, and half the time I didn't know what I was talking about. Might not even know what I'm talking about in this video. But just some interesting stuff. Hang in there, Shlomo. Learning is a really tough process, and just keep reading and researching, and all that good stuff. So take care, friends. Love the Lord your God with all your heart. Love your neighbor as yourself. And if everybody's thinking alike, then somebody isn't thinking.